Okay, quick intro. Hi, I'm Jill. This is Ethan. Find me on this. We actually already did this whole intro by Riverside, updated, and the record button is in a different place, which is why you didn't get an episode last week because we actually yapped for like an hour last week and then realized when I went to hit stop that there is no stop button. It was the record button instead. And this week I caught it slightly earlier, but Ethan was already done his hard. And then I looked down and realized it said record and not stop. And now we're here, which is ironic because Ethan's hard was both autism and the fact that tech is not consistent and doesn't work half of the time.
Like it's
So
not even is my heart and my work is that I don't I don't get to control the rage response in the autism. And it's not like it's these things do not live mutually exclusive from each other in a trauma survivor's brain that also has autism and ADHD. I don't mean to leave those out, but the ADHD I have more. It's just like it's a quirk about me. The autism piece is like I say it all the time, our processing center not working. So when A plus B doesn't equal C, and it should, I don't. It's not that I don't like it. It doesn't. And nothing makes this happen because A plus B should be C. And I'm not asking for not living in gray area. I am fucking polyamorous. There's not a lot of favorites. There's not a lot of hierarchy. There's a lot of gray area in what this connection can be. You understand? Like I don't do that very well. But when plus B, it's supposed to be C on paper on there. It isn't. Um, it's unsettling, and it's unsettling because it's inconsistent. Now, if you pause that for me and then you pick up the trauma piece, there was never a version of love, safety, peace, grounding, all of the things children should get ever. And if it was inconsistent, coupled with molestation and rape and other harmful things. And if only if you do, and very, um, so very inconsistent. And so when the inconsistency happens and then it happens over here in the processing center and that processing center remembers that inconsistency, now that meshes. um and that shit is, I cannot begin to tell you how hard that is. It is scary, it's loud, it's self-harming, um it's illogical, as much as it is. I'm not wrong. Tech should work. Why did you update and fix something that wasn't broken and make a third and fourth step to a thing that was fucking functioning? Um, that doesn't. That's a stupid decision. And and no matter and like, but that wasn't even like the problem that caused this rift between me and technology this morning. Um, but logically, I'm still right on either side of the. I shouldn't get all the way to that angry, but also, why the fuck is that happening? And then I'm lost to it. But it's nobody else's problem but mine. But it is. It's the Riverside's problem. But I don't know anybody at Riverside. And if I did, I probably wouldn't want to harm them. But I currently want to burn the whole building down. Again, illogical, but it seems like a simple solution to the problem I'm having. So I don't leave my house very much. Because it's not fair or fun for either parties. I choose to love me and know that it's way less fun for me. And Jill, I love her too. Um, but I don't need or care to have to explain myself to people in public. I just had to explain myself to a friend the other day.
yeah, we've come so far and also like not far enough when it comes to tech. Like it's the fact that I can be in one Google Meet that works perfectly fine and then leave that Google Meet and click on a new one and all of a sudden I don't have sound. So I'm just like, don't really understand how we have AI systems and robots, but we can't figure out a Google Meet or a recording software. But
And then just,
I don't work in tech, so what do I know?
and that's what like Jill's normal. Like she gets frustrated, but like that's a normal response to tech not working. And there's never a moment that it just like I can get a handle on it sometimes, but by the fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh, not A plus B equals C attempt to do all the things that I know to make that fucking equation work, and it's still not. Like it's such a yep, yep. Um, but it's also why I leave. That's why I know how to emotionally regulate to the best of my ability. That's why I have people around me that can help bring me back and see the signs and try to help catch me catch that help me catch these things before they get to the point where I have to actually ground myself or be grounded or whatever it is. And then as heavy as the trauma is, in my opinion, is the easier of the two to navigate. Trauma makes sense. Something happened. My wires got crossed. I've had to live this life this way since I was far too young to have memories or understand. I don't understand the autism part as much as it's just autism. But that's not good enough for a processing brain.
Yeah, I say all the time that I think a lot of people think it's like cute and fun and wholesome that Ethan's autistic, and there's lots of things that are cute and fun and wholesome that come with autism, but there's also a lot that is not cute and fun and wholesome. And I get really frustrated when people tap into Ethan's cute, fun autistic side and don't recognize the other side of it and think it's just like, oh, it's just autism, it's just trauma, it's no big deal. It's actually a really big deal. And it's my biggest frustration with people in this life is when they brush off his things as like no big deal. Because I have to deal with I have to deal with the big deal side of it, and I choose to do that, and I'm happy to do it. But nothing pisses me off more than when people are like, "Oh, it's just trauma." Right. So next time there's like an autistic combined with trauma meltdown, I'm going to teleport you into this house and give you no tips, and you go for it and let me know how cute and fun and wholesome it was after that. But that's not Ethan's fault. That's people. My heart is the fact that my manager keeps asking me how I can make more money, and Ethan's gonna hear me lose my mind in a call one day. If you didn't know, I'm currently finishing out a contract with a management company and like business software program that I signed with probably like 3 years ago now. And I wanted to leave 7 months ago, but I was informed that it was a 9 month notice period to leave. Don't ask. I already had my meltdown about that. Um, but today on the call, he decided to be like, you should put a timeline on moving to BC. And I said, I have a timeline on moving to BC. I need to make more money first. And he goes, well, how can you make more money? And it actually makes probably similar to Ethan, but it actually makes me like want to just him because how I can make more money. This management system is currently taking 30% of my income. I could go get a part-time job. I can sign more clients, but do you know where my money is? And
Without saying numbers,
it actually makes my head hurt
yeah.
that he's sitting there being like, well, how can you make more money? Your business takes 30% of my income. And I just like don't understand how he wants me to answer that question. So Ethan will hear me lose it at some point because how do I make more money? I wait till November, and then when I'm not paying you 30% of my income, I won't need to make more money.
Like I cannot stress the amount of breathing room Jill gets. I stay out of it with everything in my being because again, I'll walk across this fucking country if I have to go have a conversation with that motherfucker. So I stay out of it because the the way, yeah, I I'll say this: I don't ever understand why people think like Jill is stuck in this contract for 9 months because of some fine print bullshit clause that they put in that they expect and hope people miss. But that also then makes me want to walk all the way over there and have a conversation with them. So yep, it's like that intense. It I had to walk away when Jill told me how much they actually take. That's so fucked up in all of my being. Still, the numbers are running in my head like a fucking. I just can't.
And yeah,
I
I don't
can't.
talk direct money often,
Mhm.
but take 30% of how much money you make every month and do the math.
Yeah, it actually doesn't really matter how much Jill like 30%.
Just do it on your own
Just
income.
look at your next check because they take that off in taxes.
Oh,
And
but I paid that to Linus, and then I also paid
so that's what I mean, like double that.
taxes. Anywho, it just makes my eye twitch whenever he's like, "Well, how can we make you more money?" Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the reason Jill doesn't have money to move to BC, actually. So,
Yeah, that's actually.
but yeah, no, I'll go walk a couple more dogs. That'll solve the problem. We're gonna have to do a second part of this recording.
Okay, yeah.
But call in 3 minutes. Do you have a joy from the week?
Yeah, I got to. Yeah, that was this weekend. Dance with Cedar T again this weekend. On a big stage this time. The biggest one that I've been a fucking dancer on. I'll say that. Which is a lot of fun. I love working with them. Um, their partner is a cool human too, so I got to meet them and hang out. Got to dance with another human named Jorge, and just had a good time. Rehearsals were fun. It was good to be in community and moving our bodies that way. And then the show was the show. The show was a whole fucking time. It was, yep. You can check my Instagram social media. I shot a couple of videos on it. And I'm gonna leave that at a joy because that's what we're talking about.
Okay, twofold. I have 18 million inches of hair on my head.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Like that's like so that's fun. As you guys would know, took my extensions out, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Yeah, give or take.
And I really gave it a solid go with my natural hair. And to be clear, I didn't have a problem with my natural hair. Like it took a little bit of getting used to, but like the last like 3 months, I actually was like, wow, my hair's kind of long. I just knew I wanted extensions, like kind of specifically for Carrie West, but I also just think it's fun. And also, why not? So, but if I'm going to do extensions, I'm going to do extensions. And I was telling Ethan that I've always wanted hair that was like this long when I have extensions, but I am kind of a snob when it comes to my extensions, and I don't want anybody to know I have them. I'm not going to lie to your face, but I don't want you to be able to walk past me and be like, whoa, she's got extensions. If that's how you like to live your life with your hair, go off. But it actually makes my eye twitch when I see people's extensions because it's just not needed. So I needed to make sure my natural hair was long enough in order to be able to add the inches of hair I wanted so that it actually all blends and you're not just going to be like, wow, that bitch has got extensions in her head. Um, Obviously, most people will be able to tell because my hair just grew a foot. But strangers should be able to walk past me and just be like, wow, her hair's long and not be like, look, she's got extensions in her head. So that's fun. And then I also rode my bike to walk dogs yesterday. Ethan was out at the climbing gym and he was like, well, I can come home before you need to walk dogs. And I was like, no, both of the dogs are like kind of close to our house. I'll just ride my bike. And I was like a little bit nervous about it because I was like, I don't know the paths and I don't know how to get there. And I also think it's just like very ingrained in our beings in this province to just assume we need a car to get everywhere. And I'm guilty of that where I'm just like, oh my God, it's not walkable. It's not bikeable. Like I have to drive. And that's just simply not true. So I learned this like whole little path system loop that leaves our house and goes to one dog's house and then connects me to the other dog's house and then connects me back home. And I'm sure it took longer than driving, but did it? But did it really? Because I think that's our second excuse of like, oh, it'll take too long. And it took me 6 minutes to bike to the first house, and it probably would have taken me 4 to drive there. So, like, but I just had a moment of like, wow, how cool that I can just get on my bike and go where I need to go. Um, and yeah, there's some things that I see people do in life where I just like think they earn more cool points and like choosing to use your bike as a mode of transportation. Whenever I see someone choosing to bike, I'm just like, wow, you're cool. Um, so yeah, that was fun yesterday.
Hello, we're back. We might be in a slightly different position than we were a minute ago, but you didn't know that because you're probably driving while you're watching this. Um, but my hair is different. That's the telltale sign. Are you wearing different clothes? Then my hair is different. Anyways, um, we're back to continue this episode. We had to take a little break. We had work and life interrupt us there, as goes when two entrepreneurs live under the same roof and have a dishwasher that disintegrates. But we're back, and we're gonna. I can't see. We're gonna not get distracted by that and let Jill tell you what we're talking about.
Um, yeah, had a question, came across a question, whatever, that I think would be good for us to answer. It says, I just need a sanity check from people who actually get it. I'm 33, assigned male at birth, gender fluid, exclusively attracted to men, polyamorous, and demisexual.
Solid bunch of titles.
Opening dating apps lately feels like trying to navigate a maze. Between binary drop downs that assume a static gender, trying to signal polyamory, and swipe culture expecting instant physical chemistry, I'm overwhelmed.
Mm.
It honestly makes me wish I was bi or pan to avoid the orientation drop down headache. In person dating is such a minefield for me because I live in West Texas. Same.
Totally
Uh,
I'm going over here.
you're gonna tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm just. I heard what you said. Delayed as my processing goes, but that was just good timing and delivery.
With the only safe space for LGBTQIA plus people in my area being a nightclub, which isn't my scene due to sensory issues because I'm neurodivergent.
That's cool.
For anyone navigating a similar mix of identities, how do you actually set up your profiles? What do you select in those limited orientation settings, and how do you summarize your identity and relationship style in a bio without writing a whole essay?
Solid ask. Be specifically generic. I say that by way of someone that navigates a bunch of these boxes, circles, Venn diagrams, whatever you want to call us. And to their point, it is not uniquely challenging, but uniquely fucking challenging. Navigating some of these dating sites, and as overwhelming as then there's two ways this goes: either the over lack or the overabundance of options, or the complete lack of options, as was stated by the OP. But specifically generic is something to the effects of, I state your whatever you feel comfortable stating you exist as in this life on there. There's no reason to make people guess how you choose to navigate life. If you choose to live, what did I say, non-binary? Up at the top, I'm a
Gender fluid.
gender fluid. Saying that however you feel comfortable saying it is a, about as specifically generic as it gets about you because you don't like the labels as is. But if you're talking what to put on your profile, well, people are looking what and they don't want to have to hunt for information. Like you said, you want to write an essay, so why not say exactly what you just said there up top there? The start of that paragraph is pretty good identifiers on how you live this life, and then what do you like to do with your people? My dating profiles, for instance, say an option of shit I like to do. Coffee, we can move our body, we can go for a walk, we can sit in the sun, we can do like a combination of those things with no expectations. I just want to get to know another human being. I literally just say all of those words in a paragraph about that big. If that seems like something you're down for, you know what to do. Specifically generic. I specifically said the things that I like to do in that paragraph. Those are pretty generic things. They're pretty easy to handle. They're pretty low investment on people's time, energy, and money. And what I wouldn't do with a friend, I wouldn't do with a new connection. So specifically generic.
I think an essay is a waste of everybody's time because nobody reads.
I also say that. That's fun. That's how all my profiles start. I don't think any of you actually read past this fucking line because I don't. Some people make it a point to message me just to prove they did. Cool.
Yeah, all of my things are on there. I mean, I don't have as many subcategories. Uh yeah, I don't have as many titles, labels, whatever.
I like titles. It sounds important.
I think on my profile it says I'm bi and poly, but it says I'm poly somewhere in like the notes, and most people don't read that. And I know most people don't read that because before I go for coffee with anybody and we're picking a time, I always say, cool, I just got to check with my partner. And at least 50% of the time, I never get a response after that, which means you didn't actually read my profile anyways.
Yeah, I think to go along with that vein, I also say that in some way in there. And that is the specifically generic portion too. I am a this, and this. I love people, lots of people. I am open to connections of many kind. Because not all these places get to say that you're just directly polyamorous. Um, and yep, you're allowed to give as much information as you choose to, but I think that I don't come near the max out for my dating profile character limit because why put that effort in? Um, and I mean that to Jill's point, nobody reads. But it also like that sitting there listening to you say that also leads me because we talked about, and I will ask you like what your biggest piss off and pet peeve about dating is, even though I know someone's asked like a few episodes ago, but like currently with the updated state of holy shit. But what is your favorite thing about dating? What is absolutely alluring about dating?
No, like I want dating to be fun, and that's why I'm like hesitant in dating sometimes because it gets like immediately not fun for me very quickly.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it's cool to like meet people and learn about their things. I think there's a big crossover in the like queer non-monogamy space of like living fairly non-traditional lives. So I like learning about what people do for work and how they operate through life and how they choose to live and how they got here. Like I think learning people's stories are cool. Um Again, I think there's a big crossover in this space of like most people have like a cool hobby or like some sort of activity they do. So I just think like learning about people and how they choose to operate is cool.
The possibility of a third person joining this life with us. Um, and we've had a hard time finding singular people to do life with us. Have you considered putting out a genuine like profile specifically on field that is you and me? Feeling we are genuinely looking not for a unicorn and explicitly saying like these things that we are hoping to share in life with the people. Because I see other people do it for specifically unicorn hunting, and like it's gonna be hard to weed that shit out. But you know what I mean? I can't tell there's like a pro or a con, and that's mostly why I'm asking. Because in my brain, I had the thought a couple of weeks ago. I was like, well, I've come across so many partner ones, but like this is I've come across both unicorn hunted and people that are like, no, we want to share in life with a human for extended periods of time. But like, we just don't. I don't. Are we those people? I don't know. What are those people?
Yeah, I think it's probably worth a try. Like, I think we've lived on the side of like it has to be organic for as long as we have, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but I just think there's very limited situations where that's going to happen.
And like I also take into that factor the intimidation factor that we talk about a lot of someone looking at us being an established relationship. But like I know that adds to people's holy shit. People have said it to us, but I also like it that'll always be a thing. Even if one of us was to be all of a sudden in the lives of another couple. It's you guys been at this for how long? I'm sure I would also go through my own. Is it you and me? You want me to walk into this thing? Just here we go. Sure. But yeah, I just it's been on my mind the last little bit. Yeah, pros and cons of do we do the joint dating,
Yeah, I think it's worth exploring. The worst that happens is it doesn't work, but I think with anything, like if it's something we're wanting, we should try a different approach to it. I think it's hard for us to find people we both vibe with because typically that person vibes with one
one
of
of
us
us, yeah.
first, and that's not a bad thing, but like
Mm-hmm.
we gravitate towards very different kinds of people, so
So
then
then let's
meshing that doesn't always mesh.
okay. So I vote that on live tonight because I don't have any other shit to do. Um, we use the podcast email and start and build on with people because I think that that's like a genuine thing. Your good last point there is my fear is that if we don't find the right way to present this, that it just screams like we're trying to find someone third to join us versus like, hi, I'm Ethan. I like these things, and I get to do this life most often with Jill. And hi, I'm Jill. Outside of Ethan, I like these things, and actually together we do a lot of cool things in life too. Um, but we also have a space for someone that we would love to meet so we can add add what they like to this little paragraph here and then also see what we get up to together.
Yeah, like even when I think back to like our longest triad, like yes, it happened organically, but there's still a lot of similar interests
Mm-hmm.
between the three of us, and I don't find when we date solo that we find people with a lot of like
Crossover.
yeah,
Yeah,
between the two of us. It's usually
that's
like
yeah, very fair point. And yeah, not
like our
and
like longest triad, like you can like laundry list the similarities, works out, cares about nutrition, kink, BDSM,
like
like
nature hippie and again
pretty like low key, not high maintenance. You can be high maintenance if you want, but like very similar to me as a female
mm.
in a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
ways.
sorry, it took
Like
me a second to get what you meant, but yeah, yeah,
yeah, like her
100%
and
agree.
I shared a lot of
Yeah,
similarities just as
yeah, you two would get
humans.
along. You two got along instantly without me, and that was what was the kind of defining moment was when I was not in that room early on, and it was they were best friends immediately, in very cool and beautiful ways. And that was I knew, we knew, I knew, she knew, they knew. Early on, we were all in trouble from that little spark of being so similar and just being able to walk into a room together and go, oh, you are exactly who I saw on Snap until walking into this room. I do in fact like you're human. It was yeah very natural that way. So yeah, fuck yeah, you bet. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's worth a try and see what happens.
Well, you're not gonna get to see this first because we're gonna go live tonight, but maybe we'll post a little bit of the process on our social media through this whole thing.
By the time this podcast is up, there will be a profile floating out there.
Come find us. Or don't. I don't give a shit.
You can find the podcast at Shifting the Lens Podcast if you want to find that.
Yeah, please find that.
And you can find me at Coach April.
Sir, lift and fight me on this.
We'll catch you guys next time.
See.